Here we go.
Alright, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be talking about Mage healing in the new season of Discovery and doing a little theory crafting, going over the builds, and I'll tell y'all what I think about it overall, some of my thoughts and concerns on it. So, let's just, if you like this kind of content, be sure to leave me a like, comment, subscribe, and we'll just jump right into it. So, right here on the screen, I've got level 18 Mage I've been playing. Just wanted to have some gameplay in the background a little bit so it's not all dull, but there's also a point to this, to having this gameplay here, and that's in that I am using arcane missiles quite a bit. I respec this mage to arcane just to get a feel for the arcane spells at this level and see how healing a dungeon might end up going. For instance, this is going to be about the level you would realistically be healing dead mines anyways. So assuming you can find the runes to make it to where you can heal at this level, that you could expect to be healing with these spells at this level. So the damage numbers on arcane missiles in particular is what I want you to pay attention to. We'll go ahead and talk about the runes, and I'm going to go ahead and put them up on the screen right up here. So we'll go ahead and talk about the runes. Okay, so the first rune we're going to talk about is for your chest slot, and it's going to be regeneration. So this is going to heals the target's health over 3 seconds and applies temporal beacon for 30 seconds. Records the subject's space-time position. 100% of all arcane damage done by the caster will be converted to chronomantic healing and divided among the caster's current temporal beacon targets. So this is going to be a single target heal that will put temporal beacon on the target, and then any arcane damage you do afterwards will also heal. Now the second rune, mass regeneration, this is going to heal all of the target player's party members within 15 yards of the target player's health over 3 seconds and applies temporal beacon to each target for 15 seconds. So this ability has a 6-second cooldown. So it seems like group healing may be pretty good for the mage healing. But let's move on to the glove slots, and this is where I'm really not sure what's going to be best to do here. One of the runes is rewind time, so your current target with your temporal beacon instantly heals all damage taken over the last 5 seconds. Ineffective on targets that did not have a temporal beacon 5 seconds ago with a 1-minute cooldown. So this seems like it would be a pretty good cooldown to use on the tank for a really big heal. But on the other hand, the other rune I want to look at is Arcane Blast, and you're probably familiar with Arcane Blast, but what it's going to do is each time you cast Arcane Blast, the damage and healing of all other arcane spells is increased by 15%, and mana cost of Arcane Blast is increased by 175%. And the effect stacks up to 4 times and lasts 6 seconds, or until you cast another arcane damage spell. So here's what I'm talking about. We don't know how effective regeneration and mass regeneration are going to be, how much they're going to heal in and of themselves when you cast those spells, right? But my point is, you can see here my arcane missiles are doing somewhere around 130, 140 damage per cast. And this is at level 18. So over 4 seconds, you're getting about 130, 140 damage. That's exactly how much healing you'll get as well. As far as I'm aware, there's not going to be any modifier that will increase the healing. So, yeah. So, it looks like... I'm not entirely sure that's going to be enough healing from one spell, if you follow my thinking here. The other problem I am thinking that we're going to have with this is mana efficiency. So, arcane damage does not seem to be very mana efficient at all at this level anyways. So I'm a little worried about how the mage healer is going to do. On the other hand, like, don't get me wrong, this kind of has me intrigued. I'm definitely going to try it, but I do have my concerns. So at this point, let's go ahead and take a look at what we're going to pick for our spec for mage healing. Alright, so here we have a talent calculator for WoW Classic, so we're going to take a look at it. So I'm going to put these points in as I would put them in while I'm leveling. So if you're going to be healing as a mage, you really need to have your talents in Arcane. So we'll go ahead and put 2 in Arcane Subtlety, reduce your target's resistance to all your spells by 10, and reduces the threat caused by your arcane spells by 40%. Now this is a big one because one problem I have with the mage already is threat wise, you don't have a threat drop in Classic. So you're going to be getting threat from the damage you're causing and the healing that you're causing from your damage on top of that. So I'm really worried about how the mage is going to do threat wise while they're trying to heal. That's definitely a concern for me. I don't know how it's going to play out yet, but I'm looking forward to finding out. So then the next 3 points I'm going to put in Arcane Focus. Reduce the chance that the opponent can resist your arcane spells by 6%. That's all I'm going to put in that for right now. This opens up Arcane Concentration. I'm going to go ahead and put 5 points in that. And now I'm at level 19. I definitely want to pick up improved arcane missiles, right? So 100% chance to avoid interruption caused by damage while channeling arcane missiles. That's going to be really nice. Not to mention, this is something that most healers, I think all healers in Classic get, is a reduced chance to lose casting time from damage. So that definitely fits in with the theme of being a healer, right? So at this point, your level, this will be a level 24. So we'll put 1 point in Arcane Meditation. This would be what my spec would look like at level 25. So this is going to allow 5% of your mana regeneration to continue while casting, And then we've got a 10% chance of entering a clear casting state, making the next spell free, basically, 0 mana cost. So that's going to help a little bit with the mana issues that I foresee having as a mage trying to heal. This is what we're looking at level 25, though. That's the way I would put my points there. So we'll go ahead and continue on down the line, and I'll show you what I think an in-game build will look like. So we'll put 2 more points into Arcane Meditation. Now, these 2 spells I really don't think are that useful. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and put 2 more points into Arcane Focus to unlock the next tier down. So we're going to put 1 in Presence of Mind. This will make your next mage spell with a cast time less than 10 seconds become an instant cast spell. So that's kind of a nice cooldown to have. We're going to have to put a point in Arcane Resilience, even though the armor is basically useless for a mage, but we need to pick this up in order to get access to Arcane Mind, and we want all 5 points in Arcane Mind, but we're not going to put them in there just yet. I'm going to put 3 points into Arcane Instability first, and then we finish off Arcane Mind. And that's how I would do it while I was leveling. Now you can pick up Arcane Power, which is going to be a cooldown. Your spells deal 30% more damage while costing 30% more mana to cast. So that's gonna be a nice cooldown to have for high damage spikes, right? Honestly, at this point, just looking at this purely from a healing perspective, I would go back up here and put 5 points in Magic Absorption. And since we're trying to focus more on healing and worried about our mana efficiency, I would go ahead and put 2 points into Wand Specialization, just so you are able to contribute a little bit when you're trying not to cast and save your mana back up during pulls. Honestly, this is going to put you about level 47. In Classic, I really like Frost Mages. So, I'm not real sure exactly what points I like here. I think I would ignore Elemental Precision just because we have Arcane Subtlety, and go ahead and get the improved Frostbolt. And then at this point, you've got to be thinking about this is just utility talents for when you're not healing, honestly. So 2 points in improved Frost Nova. This is going to help you out while you're healing. Sometimes give your tank a chance to back off and not take damage. Honestly, I think I would take Frostbite on this one. A lot of times I like to pull with Frostbolt and before I jump into Arcane Missiles for when I'm going to be out soloing and questing. Then at this point, you could pick up Cold Snap or you could pick up Improved Blizzard, whichever one you feel like is going to be more important. Or you could pick up Cold Snap and then put a couple points into Permafrost. I mean, at that point, just whatever you feel comfortable with. Since the only thing that you're going to be able to heal with is arcane damage, I kind of feel like everything we've put in the Frost Tree is irrelevant and just for your personal preference on how you want to play when you're out questing and leveling on your own. So that's where I think our talents are going to go for mage healing. Um, I am going to say I have some concerns with this. Let's put the gameplay back up so we have something to look at while we're talking about this. So as I was saying, with it being unclear how much healing you're going to get from regeneration and mass regeneration in and of themselves, um, I'm really worried about the mana efficiency of your arcane spells and healing through your arcane spells. Um, and I'm really curious to give it a try and see if we're going to be able to use the rewind time rune, or if it's going to be more efficient to pick up the Arcane Blast rune at this point.
It's too far away.
I definitely have some concerns about this, but the Arcane Blast rune would definitely make your healing from your arcane spells more effective. You probably wouldn't want to cast Arcane Blast more than once, but just for mana issues. But have a cast of Arcane Blast to make your next cast of Arcane Missiles hit a little harder. There will be some probably AoE healing as well from Arcane Explosion, but really those are the only two damage spells you get from Arcane. So, I mean, that's pretty much what you're going to be looking at. That's what you're going to be working with when you're trying to heal with your arcane damage is Arcane Missiles and Arcane Explosion, unless you pick up the Arcane Blast rune. And like I say, I'm not convinced that's going to be the way to go. It is an option, I suppose, but
I'm out of range.
another concern that we have for this is we don't know how many of these runes we're going to have access to at level 25. Just because they've said these runes will be in the game does not necessarily mean that we will have access to them at level 25. So I'm really curious how that's going to play out. I guess we'll know here in a day or two. But, it is something to be thinking about, and definitely something to be trying to have a contingency plan for in case we're not able to get all of these runes by level 25. There were some of the other classes I have the same concern about. I'm wondering which of the runes we'll have access to, and yeah, we'll see in a day or two. So that's really all I had to say about the mage and the mage healing, and I'm really looking forward to it. I feel like this is going to add a level of challenge to healing that you really don't feel from many of the other classes. So I'm definitely looking forward to trying it. But all in all, it may not be viable at the end of the day. Once we get to try it, we'll see. But I really want to see how how the mage healer is going to stack up against the priest and the druid and the paladin and the shaman. I really feel like the mage may come up short in the healing department. But either way, it's going to be fun to find out. So be sure to leave me a like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you think. Tell me how you feel the mage healing is going to go, and I'll see you in the next one.